survival situation, what would you do? What do you mean? Like, what are your skills? What's your game plan? Oh, okay, yeah, I'd find a man. Find a man? Yeah, I mean, am I strong? Sure. Am I capable? Sure. Am I stronger or more capable than a well-trained man? No. Okay, well, that's internal misogyny, but we're not even going to talk about that. Why do you think this man is just going to protect you? Oh, yeah, that's where my skills come in. Oh. What should I have said, like archery or something?
What up?
Good morning.
Morning.
I am dragging ass.
Like that, huh?
Oh, I barely made it home.
Obligatory piece of the Mondays joke, or?
I don't know, just it was dead as fuck last night. Usually Saturday and Sunday nights are really slow because we don't have trucks showing up over the weekend. And last night was extremely slow, and it just saps me. Like if we're busy and things are kind of popping along and it's a good night, then like when I leave, I'm good. But if it's just dead, I am also dead. So it was a long night. That's why I got the big ass cup of coffee today.
It's funny how that works. I need to listen to your last couple episodes bitching about the youth, because I want to like play devil's advocate on that. But like, fuck, man, like something I noticed early on. I think some people just like work and some people don't, right? But I remember like working in a warehouse, and you know, if it was slow, it when it works slow, it just sucks. It drags on. Like, you know, you think, oh, an easy job where you do nothing is this awesome thing. And it's like, no, it's awesome for like 2 days. And then it's boring as shit, right? But I find like these like nests in the warehouse. You know, I'd be out pulling orders and I'd stumble upon like a little nest where you can see someone has been chilling and taking naps, and they got a little way they can look and see if anybody's coming, you know, and shit like that. And I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're really hungover, that sounds kind of appealing, but I'm just like, fuck, man, like the day just goes by so much quicker when you're fucking working, you know. But it never really made sense to me. I don't know, like people no call, no show, and don't get fired and stuff, and I'm like, why the fuck am I working so hard? You know, like it's really not getting me anywhere further in life at this particular job, because that's where I'm planning on staying. But I just can't not do a decent job, you know. Even when I had my last corporate job was at Walmart over a decade ago, and I smiled at the customers within 10 feet and all that bullshit, you know. But it's like, why? Yeah, they offered me a promotion within a month, but like, I don't want to be a manager of electronics at Walmart for $13 an hour. Fuck no. So, I don't know.
Well, like for me, like sometimes, sometimes you just feel like not going to work today. And whereas like in former jobs, I might have from time to time like taken a day off and just been like, I'm gonna call in today. I'm just not gonna do it. I just don't feel like it. You know, I'm not feeling it. With this one, like there's only 2 of us on night shift. So if I don't show up for work, then the other night shift guy has to cover. Like we don't have coverage. It's me or him. So like if I don't feel like going in, I'm like, all right. If I don't go in, I'm just completely fucking him over. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like I can get through a night and get to my 4 days off. But you know, you got other people that, I mean, there are folks that work there that they'll call in 3 out of the 4 days. Like, what the fuck? How do you even still have a job?
Well, it's funny because I see on a lot of the probably these young kids y'all are bitching about, you know, memes that they post or images, whatever you want to call it, a screenshot of a tweet. But it's like, oh, you know, you shouldn't feel bad for not going in because you're screwing the other people over. It's management's fault for not hiring enough or whatever. And it's like, okay, first off, as a small-time businessman, like you can't just have extra staff. Like staffing is like, that's your basic expense is labor, like typically, right? So like, like just having extra people on staff isn't there something like you can like do all the time. Now I get at the same time, like there's been plenty of times I've gone into work for a manager who really didn't appreciate me. He was like, come on, man, just pop a couple ibuprofen and come on in. And I have, you know what I mean? And looking back, I'm like, fuck him. Cause like when I've had jobs where the management cares about me, they know I don't take sick days, right? But if I do call in and be like, dude, I'm not feeling it today, they're like, we got you. Don't even fucking sweat it. Because they know I'm making that call. They know I'm making that decision. I'm not being lazy. I'm not trying to dip out of work. They know I care about the other people whose days are going to be harder. But, you know, they know that I only call in when I fucking need it. So not even a fucking issue. Nobody's mad, whatever. And just like I've got guys who I work with where it's like, oh, fuck, you're calling it again? Jesus Christ. And sometimes it's like, no problem, dude. I know shit's tough at home. I got you. You know, like, but you kind of have to build a reputation for that kind of shit. You know what I mean? I think that comes with time and that comes with, you know, just being a decent human for long enough.
Well, and that's like the thing. It's kind of a workplace joke. I think everywhere is, you know, we're perpetually short-staffed. We never have enough people, and I think that's just like part of every job. Like there's always stuff because it never fails. You get fully staffed, and then somebody moves, or somebody quits, or somebody gets fired. You know, like, so it's just the perpetual motion machine of because turnover is pretty regular in most jobs. Like for the people who do stay in a place and work there for 20 years, you've got 7 that stay there for 20 days.
Yeah.
And it's probably a lot more than 7. Like the numbers on that are probably outrageous. And that's the one time that I did have like adequate staffing, and it was only it was only for the season, for harvest season, but because we would bring on temps, and I just loaded up and brought on way more temps than what we needed, and the regional ops manager even came by and he said, "You got way too many people working here." He's like, "Y'all, they've never had this many people at this facility." I was like, "Just leave me alone and let me do my thing. Trust me." And it was the same. I was the assistant manager at the time, and it was the same for the manager. He was like, "You can't hire that many people. Everybody's going to be mad at you. Like, a lot of these guys want their overtime hours during this time of year. Like, this is where they really make bank." I was like, "Just chill the fuck out. It's going to work." And I set up the schedule where everybody had at least 1, if not 2 days off every week, which in grain, like in that industry, usually from the end of July, early part of August through November, you get 0 days off. Like, unless it rains, you work 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, 3 months straight. And so building in the schedule and having all these extra people, nobody was mad about missing out on that overtime. They were happy to have days off and to be able to go do stuff. And everybody was more refreshed, and everybody was happier, and everybody worked harder. And at the end of it, we had a lower payroll for the harvest season than the facility had ever had previously, because instead of everybody working 1 million hours of overtime, we had extra people working a whole bunch of regular time. And it was like, I kind of know what I'm doing. Like, there's a plan for this, while everybody's telling me, "No, you can't do that. We've never done that before." I'm like, yeah, well, you're all dumbasses. I don't know.
My buddy Pat Watson just had or maybe it's a year now, he had a book come out called Bureaucracy. And it's yeah, my dogs are going nuts. I'm sorry. I'm trying to mute them and get it figured out. I'm doing my best, I promise. But he's got this book called Bureaucracy, and he worked in government and military and shit like that for years. So the way he breaks it down, and of course bureaucracy goes into corporate as well. Once you get over like 10 to 12 people in an organization, like there has to be some level of bureaucracy. But he points out a lot of the stuff like what you're saying, where it's like upper management isn't close to the action, so they just tell you, "No, we need less people," whatever, you know what I mean? But it's just really interesting. He really has a good way of laying out like how bureaucracy just fucks shit up. He did an episode with Liberty Medic. podcast like a couple years ago, and they spent like an hour and 45 minutes just talking about why the bureaucracy makes like military and police like it can just never be good or like provide good services. And really, really good. He does a really good job of explaining that shit. I recommend anybody who's interested in that listen to it. But yeah, man, it's a shit like you're saying. It's like, dude, like you get a good manager who knows what the fuck he's doing. You know, they have a hard time just letting you run the fucking show, though. You know, even if the results come out better, right?
Steven and I talked about that on Thursday night's episode, which is the podcast episode that released this morning for my show. Like the management types and the way that like managers coming out of college these days are just like terrible. They don't know what they're doing. They bring on like all of the worst management practices and like I don't know. I'm a very hands-off kind of manager. Like we come in, we have a pre-shift meeting. I tell everybody what we're doing, and then I leave you the fuck alone and you go do it. Like I'm not
Just get it done.
right. I'm not going to come around and check on you every 45 minutes to make sure you're doing your job. Like if this is what we need to do tonight, I trust that you're going to get it done because you've been trained and you know how to do your job. And my crew works very hard for me, and we also fuck off a lot and have fun, and like it's enjoyable. When they go work on other shifts, they do not have similar experiences, and it's like it's just my management style, and that's always been my management style. Like I've never been a fan of a boss that comes around and checks on me and breathes down my neck. Like if you have a job for me to do, let me do it, and if you need me to do it a specific way, then you can do it. Like if you have to spend your entire time breathing down my neck to tell me how to do it, then you've got enough time to do it your damn self. Like, leave me alone.
Did you get that memo about those TPS reports? Just checking.
I've also been very fortunate. We talked about this too. I've also been fortunate that I've never worked in like a true office type of environment. Like it.
Yeah, no,
I
me
would
either, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's even I feel like I'm like to the age and experience level too, where it's like I can't really work because like okay, so my last job where I was working at the shop that I worked at forever, I didn't want a management position. I'd been there, done that kind of thing, and you know I had a manager who way younger than me, totally cool dude, worked with him for half a decade. You know, he was doing his job of coming out and keeping schedules working. We have customers, shit like that, but coming out and asking me how's it going, that kind of thing. And like one day, man, he just asked me too many times how it was fucking going, on this car. And like I fucking like laid into him, and I wouldn't apologize, of course, like 20 minutes later, but like, but it's like he was just doing his job as he's supposed to, he wasn't micromanaging or anything like that. Honestly, he's got a pretty big hog, to my understanding. But at any rate, it's just like, okay, I just can't do that job where or somebody's supposed to be coming around and checking on me and asking me fucking questions. Like I need to be like an independent contractor or fucking on my own or doing my own shit. And I might just be too old for it. Like I've worked a fucking job job so many years, you know what I mean? I'm over that shit.
Well, that's why that's part of why I like night shifts so much is because when I'm there at night, it's just me. There is no other upper management. There's no phones ringing. There's no like excessive emails. If something comes up and it needs to be fixed, I just fix it. I don't have to. The day shift guy and I were talking about that a couple weeks ago. He was like, "Yeah, we had this, and I had to go talk to this person and this person and this person, and then do this and this and this, and then we finally got it fixed." I was like, "We have the same thing happen all the time at night, and I just like fix it, and I might send an email in the morning if I remember to." Like, and nobody ever says anything about it. Like nobody questions it. Like that's also part of why I like nights is because I don't have anybody else there to bother me.
Yeah, only some people can be autonomous. Some people can't. Some people need. This has been my experience. Why we stopped hiring people who were ex-military because they couldn't do anything without being directly told to do it. If they finish their job, they're just out back smoking cigarettes. You come out and tell them what next to do, and it's just like fucking A, dude. Like you know how this shit works. Let's fucking keep it moving. So yeah, man, it's but not everybody can have that kind of thing where you can just be unsupervised and get your job done. So, and hey, God bless the people who can somehow tolerate working in a cubicle, like because somebody's got to do it, and I'm glad it ain't me. What's going on, Mark?
Good morning. You want to tell us about your your work experience?
Which one?
Any of them? The good managers, bad managers. I'm not sure how we got off on that.
Any funny working story you got?
They're all there, but my head's not working right now. So we should just jump into whatever else we're going to talk about. I can't even talk right now.
Body positivity, apparently.
Well, speaking of head
Yeah.
not being all there, let's see.
See, I knew that I would provide a perfect segue.
Segue into
That's a very body positive hose in my stable, if you know what I mean.
where did it go? Oh, we'll get to that. There we go.
Oh shit!
That's the one I was looking
My headphones are telling me the battery's low, so I might have to deal with that. Jesus, sorry.
This guy.
Ah. Is there no volume on that?
Yeah, cognitive decline definitely describes this poor fellow.
I never saw any volume on this clip. Anywhere I've seen it.
I was trying to figure out what he was
Still
talking
not
about.
getting it.
See, look. Obviously,
it's-
if you look at this clip, whenever he walks off the stage, he's not trying to shake the hand of ghosts. His arm is just stuck like that.
He
Like,
just
this is like his Bob Dole moment. Like, they just need to give him a
he's-
pencil.
Yeah, he's like a really slow Italian guy, you know.
Is he like trying to see where to go? Like, is he just like, where's my path? Because they're constantly having to show him where to walk. So maybe that's what that is.
Why is she backing him up? Was he just like slowly meandering
Look at the way
into the crowd of journalists?
look at the way she walks back.
She looks so like
She's like-
dejected. Like, God, why do I have to keep guiding this poor doddering fool around?
Is there no sound, or
No, there's no
it's
sound.
not worth it? Okay.
I turned it all the way up and nothing.
Well,
Poor guy.
Did y'all see the pictures of her sitting on his lap at 15 years old when she was the babysitter for the family before he and his first wife were on the
I was
house or
thinking
whatever?
she looks a lot younger than him. How old is she?
She is quite a bit younger than him. I mean, he's like almost 80. I think she's like early 60s. Yeah, he was, according to the picture, he was in his 30s at the time, and she was like 15. So, and then
That's
we've got the daughter's diary that's come out, which is apparently legitimate, but no mainstream media are talking about that at all.
she says probably not proper for him to be showering with her. I like how she put probably in there. Most likely.
Appropriate. It was
No,
not appropriate.
So weird, yeah. Very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird family.
Oh shit. Well, speaking of somebody that Mark would probably like to shower with,
What? No. What?
You need a fancy shower to fit two people in the shower with her.
I'd say I think that's already technically fitting two people in the shower, so you're gonna have to.
I have a poor people shower. We couldn't do that.
No.
It's like
okay,
jacuzzi
so
for one.
it's funny because it's like you could make an argument, you know, that especially back like in, you know, this comparison picture here. Okay, the models were unrealistically skinny, or you know, you could have more realistic chicks. Like, okay, done. But that, like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, come the fuck on, man. Now, in fairness, I walk around my average Walmart. That's not abnormal. So maybe
No,
I'm the one with the
definitely
fucking
not.
problem.
At a Walmart.
Yeah, but
They're usually wearing less clothes too at Walmart, so it's just not a great sight.
I have logistics questions about fat people sex sometimes, and I'm just looking at this picture, and I'm just wondering if there's an apparatus or something that you need to get access there. Clothing aside, you know. It almost, dude. Okay, it looks like there's a hot chick papoosed onto the front of this girl. Like if you just look at like the midriff, that's like the lower back. Like imagine a tramp stamp there, and then she's got her legs wrapped around this other girl, and it almost looks like a butt in itself.
That's that front butt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have those same
questions. Double up.
I have those same questions as you, especially if they're both this size.
Yeah, fat people be fucking. Let me tell you. So
it's just how that you don't know. It's just...
So apparently,
I can't bring myself to do the research.
Let's see what. I'm not even going into my beliefs on the logistics. My wife looks like the chick on the right, so like, and I'm kind of look like one of the dudes behind her, so we don't really have this sort of problem. So I don't know. I'm not gonna throw in my projection on how
we have the bruises from hip bone problem. That's what we have. Oh shit. Yep.
What time period is the other picture from?
1990.
You can tell because it's in black and white.
Before my time.
Back before there was color.
Oh shit! Good old days.
Well, I mean, that's I saw a side-by-side comparison of like Victoria's Secret models from like the early 2000s versus the Victoria's Secret catalog that came out last year. Like, and the really scary thing about the lineup from last year is there are at least 3 dudes in that picture. Like, they're not dressed like dudes, but I guarantee you there are swinging dicks attached to at least 3 of those.
Well, I smell a new bit for the show.
It's just your own suspicion.
That's what I suspect. There's certain jawline, facial feature, shoulder structure.
Adam's
this
apple.
is what they would do.
Look, you want to look for certain signs. All right, and
this is what they would do in this day and age. They would make any of them that look even marginally attractive be dudes to trick anybody. Okay, well, I guess if I have to masturbate to this fucking Victoria's Secret, at least there's like 3 of them in there that are okay, and then you find out that they're actually dudes. God.
It's funny that you say that about masturbating, because when that came out, I posted it and I said, Victoria's Secret ensuring no teenage boy jerks off to their catalog ever again. And then everybody was like, I think you underestimate teenage boys for one. Like, you might be right on that. And then I got the screeching feminists that are says the perpetually single guy, no woman would probably ever touch you. So I sent a screenshot of that to my wife, and I was like, they're coming after me. So she sent me a picture from her. She sent me a picture from her modeling days where she's wearing like some skimpy red lingerie and sitting on a stool and like leaning against a stool. She's like, send them this. Tell them this is your wife. I was like, all right, I can do it. I got her permission. Like,
look at you just objectifying that poor woman.
Right.
Making your wife dress like that.
So when I posted that, I got blocked by a whole bunch of the screeching feminists. They did not like that at all. Apparently, I'm not allowed to have a hot wife.
Yeah, it's for the best.
They were fun up to that point, and then they didn't want to play anymore.
You had to keep your Twitter account going a little longer than one of Clyde's.
Is that why he keeps getting banned? Is he making fun of uggos and feminists?
It's possible.
Did he get banned again?
No, I think he's currently good. We told him he can't get banned while we're doing fantasy football because it's just going to throw a wrench in all the group chats. So,
and I'm not giving him my other alt account. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that one. Like, he can have the Doctor Strange science that he's turned into Doc Clyde, but he doesn't get stickly. That's
give him a pedophile stick. He fits the mold.
One of these days, I'll figure out a way to incorporate a bunch of inappropriate Nickelodeon humor into that account and really take off running with it. But so far, I just hadn't figured out the right angle.
For several reasons, I don't think I'm going to watch it. But have you guys watched the Nickelodeon documentary thing? Isn't that about like pedophiles in Nickelodeon?
No, where is this?
I think it's out on like Netflix.
Sounds like Justin will be watching it.
Hulu or Prime or something.
Hey, this will completely fuel my Stickly account. So like,
Yeah. No, I think there's a documentary out of it because a lot of stuff's come out about like it was like the dude, like one of like the head guys, maybe he was like the casting guy for Nickelodeon throughout the 90s. And it was like, I guess he's really into feet. Like, and I mean, this is what I've heard, like, so don't quote me 100%, but I hear he has like a foot-shaped swimming pool in his backyard and shit. And like all the fucking, like, whenever like a kid would come in and audition for whatever show on Nickelodeon, he'd do the regular audition tape, but then he'd always do some reel of them like with like feet shit, like baked beans on their feet and like shit like that. And I guess, yeah, he got busted as being some, maybe it's not even he was being a pedo. Maybe he's just come out all this weird shit, but they haven't actually, I mean, obviously that's weird enough, but you know, any like, you know, concrete pedophile thing. I don't know what the whole deal is, but yeah, I think they actually came out with a fucking documentary or something about it.
wow.
So
yeah, I have to check that out.
Weird.
Yeah, it's getting pretty thick, you know, in the whole.
Well, I mean,
I don't know, man. Weird industry, you know. But I mean, you think about it. It's one of those things where the powerful positions attract, you know, sociopaths, and it's like, man, if you're the thing, people have always wanted to be movie stars since that's been a thing. So just the amount of power you would have if you're the one who makes or breaks that for people, you know. So I can really see the super creeps, getting into that field.
I never really understood the slime with Nickelodeon.
Maybe it's this guy's perverted foot thing. Maybe he's got a slime foot fetish, and that's what the whole slime thing's been about this whole fucking time.
There it is. I know. Dan Snyder's who Dag is thinking about, and it's true.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Does Magoo have like personal experience that he wants to tell us about, or
he was one of the rejects on one of those Nickelodeon shows. Like he didn't make the cut, but he still had to go through all the like baked beans on his feet and shit. So he's got some stories.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that there's something on Nickelodeon, and we just talked about Anne Hesh and the chick from iCarly a couple weeks ago. You know, like, and there's always been like the rumblings that it goes on with Disney, but it seems like pretty apparent that there's some pretty fucked up shit going on with all of those different media entities.
Yeah, man, it's like, I mean, not like I think kids watching a lot of TV or anything is good for them anyhow, but it's like, fuck, man, you really don't want to let your kid watch anything. Like, oh, the least it was made by nothing. And I've always thought this about people who make children's shows and shit, like content for children. It's kind of weird, right?
It's kind of, yeah, you're like 53 years old. And I like to write stories for kids. Okay.
Yeah, something's just weird about that, man. I don't know. It's like a male kindergarten teacher. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
There might be some great male kindergarten teachers out there. I don't know, but I don't know. Something about that's kind of weird. Especially when it's Arnold, you know. But that was kind of a whole different, it's a different time.
It's not a tumor. Maybe that's what that was on the front of that.
What we call a booty do out in my neck of the woods. Any of y'all know what a booty do is? It's when the belly stick out more than the booty do.
I can take some guesses, but I don't.
Well, you got the Dunlops.
Was it the tire?
Oh yeah, where their stomach Dunlopped over their belt.
Oh, oh, that's good. That's
well,
you
know, there were also some. We got the fat chick today, but we also have some screeching witches. Screeching bitches. Let me see if I can find them.
Screeching witches.
Freudian
slip. Bring it on. We talk way too much shit about fat people on the show.
Well, these people are never going to be fat because they don't eat enough healthy food for it.
You're disgusting. What do you think you are? You're just a coward. You're a fucking coward. You're skinny, embarrassing shit. You're embarrassing me. What am I gonna do? Nothing. You're gonna die on your own with that fucking
What? Oh, it feels fucking good. You and your small dick and your pussy way of killing animals, and it feels good for eating and stuff. Feel all the blood on your face and all the blood on your hands. It feels good with your small dick. Hey, shame on.
I love how they always go to the small dick thing.
They always go to the small dick. It's like
your pussy way of eating animals. Like, you definitely come up with those off the cuff.
you should just say, excuse me, ma'am, I'm in the middle of transitioning right now. It's really offensive.
Need to get my protein up so I can make it through this.
I'm trying to grow a dick here, ma'am. Like, so like from like the protester, like let's say you're one of the protesters, like especially this dude, he's so quietly and coolly trolling. Like, I love it, because he's not saying anything or getting it. But like, I don't know. It just seems like such a waste of energy and breath to go even bother yell. You think you big dude, like just let him be, right? Like, this is gonna make us look good. But like, I don't know. I totally like the chick yelling in his face too, like especially the real skinny one yelling about the small. Yeah, that's the one. It's like I don't know. Like, you got to get some of that 15-year-old energy out somehow, So
I
let
she's
it
got
out.
to figure out how that outlet.
She's too
I
old
agree.
for this shit. But
Yeah, I hate protester energy. Just the whole vibe protesters give off. It's like, you are losers.
Oh, this video's fun.
I just like watching how into it she gets. She's like,
She's got the physiognomy too. Like, there's something going on there.
he just gives it a nice big lick. Here we go. Get all the way in there, buddy.
Blood.
Which side is this woman back here on? Right, directly behind him.
That
She
one?
With
seems
Daisy
like she's
Dukes?
not sure.
She's got the dot on her head. She's got to be on the protester side.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Likely.
What's she got written on her legs? Shame. It says shame. She's definitely there to be anti-meat. I feel like a lot of these chicks that are like the hardcore vegan protesters or like the PETA protesters, they're just anti-meat because they're too ugly for anybody to fuck them. Like, they're not getting any sausage, so they may as well just stick with the cucumber.
You should tell them that.
Mark just called the cucumber.
I caught the meat versus veggie thing going there. You had a lot. You put some layers on that. That was impressive. Is this original to you, or have I just never heard this joke before?
What? They're not getting any sausage, so they sticking with the cucumber?
Yeah.
I just came up with it on the fly. Apparently, I'm a lot better at this than that chick is. She needs to take some improv. She needs to take some improv courses or something. Oh, somebody else who needs to take some improv courses because she just like crashed and burned with this one. Let's see. Come on, Kathy, tell us about it.
And we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro, just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town. Because you don't represent our values. You are not New Yorkers.
Yeah, they should probably listen.
She's a terrifying looking bitch.
Is she the mayor, or is the black guy? I'm sure she's the governor, and the black guy is the mayor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she replaced Cuomo.
Gotcha.
Like, somehow they managed to get even worse with their governor.
Was de Blasio kicked out too, or his terms ran out?
Yeah, I think his term ran out. I don't think he ran for re-election. Like, I think he just was done.
That guy, his face, he had a really punchable face. I didn't know you lived in Brooklyn, Steven. That sounds awful.
If you had paid attention Thursday night, you would have known that. But here we are.
I was working and listening.
I'm trying to look up the differences in the state, like Republicans versus Democrats.
In like New York.
Yeah, the whole New York state.
You mean like the entire the city being blue and the rest being red?
She's the mayor.
She's the governor.
Okay, so yeah, I'm curious in the whole state, like how much of the percentage of the state she's telling to just get the fuck out.
I think it's like between 4 and 5 million New Yorkers are registered Republicans. Like most of upstate New York is pretty deep red. So
if she wants to do that, it would probably be easier for New York City just to combine with New Jersey and then let the rest of New York be red.
I mean, just secede.
Yeah.
upstate New York should like break off and join with Vermont and be its own state, and then just let New York City
Escape from New York the other day for the first time. Just put a wall around it. Basically, be what it is now. I mean, it didn't look much better in the movie. Now. Yeah,
rubbing off.
Put a wall around it. They can be happy. We can be happy. I'm cool with it. I'm not. You don't usually hear me pitching for a wall, but I'm cool with this.
Look, I have been advocating for a wall around Detroit for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Just build a wall, fill it with water, move on with life. Create a giant swimming pool.
It'd be nice in the summer, at least.
Let's see. Oh, I guess in the winter it would be the biggest ice hockey arena like on the planet. You could just do the winter Olympics hockey part on that every year.
Yeah, they're not bringing the Olympics to Detroit.
They won't even take the Super Bowl to Detroit.
They did one year.
How many people got shot that year? Probably no more than did on any other Sunday.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know there was a second one. I was chatting with Steven earlier. I was like, my thing's been going back and watching all the movies from the 80s and shit that I never saw but should have. Been going back and watching all the classics, you know.
Have you watched Blade Runner?
I think we watched that one, but I don't. Blade is the vampire one, right?
Yes.
Blade Runner is not the vampire one.
No.
Is Blade Runner the one with Arnold?
No. Blade Runner has Harrison Ford.
I think we watched. I'm gonna take this jar.
I'm gonna go check my list. He said.
Yeah. The dog's just pushing a mason jar around the floor.
Your dogs are on one today.
It's been a weekend. We did okay. So the wife says we did watch it.
Okay. Well, good. You should watch the new one. There was a new one, Blade Runner 2049, that came out a couple years ago. It was really good too. It was a good follow-up. Like it didn't have a bunch of woke dumb shit. It was just like a good continuation of like it takes the first movie and then jumps several years forward.
See, I like a lot of like bad movies too, Megan, just because I love a good, getting stoned on the couch with your friends and Mystery Science Theater 3000 in a movie, picking it apart. It's a hoot. So yeah, if I can get a bad good movie's good, but yeah, like a new bad movie just doesn't do it for me. I'm like, ugh. And like like you alluded to, there's like all the woke shit in it, So
did you
go back to the old ones?
The 80s movies, is the Tom Cruise movie a part of that? The one that just came out, the original? I can't remember what it's called.
Top Gun?
Yes.
Yeah, we watched that one. I saw that for the first time about a week before the new one came out.
Everyone keeps telling me I need to watch the new one. I was like, well, I feel like I have to watch the original first, and I haven't seen that yet.
See, I feel like I need to watch the original again before I watch the new one, because I think I was like 8 years old when I watched the original. Like, my uncle had it recorded on VHS, and he had there was like a Nintendo, like the original Nintendo Top Gun game where you like flew planes and you would like.
I heard
and one of the
fuck.
I was really good at the flying part, but you had to like come back and land, and every time I would fail the mission because I would just crash and burn. I was really into Top Gun when I was like 8 years old because he had that game, and so I watched the movie, but I haven't seen it since then. So I feel like I should watch it again before I watch the new one. But the reason I brought up Blade Runner,
Night of the Comet. Put that on my list.
Scientists grow synthetic embryo with a brain and a beating heart without eggs or sperm. And somebody made the comment, and I can't remember who it was, or I would give them credit for it. Somebody said, "Do you want Blade Runner? Because this is how you get Blade Runner. Like, this is how they create the synthetics."
This isn't good.
And like that's the idea of Blade Runner is they create these. They're humans, but they have they're not born. They're like grown in a lab, and their sole purpose is to go do like hard work that is dangerous and would kill people. Like they're not considered people. They're just the working class. So they like start escaping and trying to find meaning in life. And the thing is, they all have like an expiring lifespan. Like they only live for so long. Like their sole purpose is to live long enough to do the job and then die. And so that the Blade Runners are the ones who track them down whenever they like escape from their jobs.
I remember now. Okay, yeah.
I've seen Blades of Glory.
Well, that was pretty good too. not quite on the same level, but
I have not seen that. You know, there was that stint there in the early 2000s of Will Ferrell movies and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Step Brothers, fucking out of this world. Amazing movie. The Campaign, excellent. That one came out a little bit later. But man, a lot of those other ones, I just was not like. Everyone really liked Anchorman. I just did not get down with Anchorman. I mean, Christina Applegate was in it. That's the highlight.
What about Talladega Nights?
I remember Dag saying he didn't like Talladega Nights.
There was a couple good jokes. Oh, one of my favorites, I think I mentioned it to y'all, was they keep a couple songs in the jukebox as what they call them for profiling purposes. Or no, that was Zoolander. Or was that Zoolander?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
All of those movies blur into one. Just big,
yeah,
like, one big bundle of dumbassery to laugh at.
Oh fuck!
I own most of those. I've got them somewhere.
Yeah, Step Brothers is excellent though.
Step Brothers is good.
Have you guys ever seen oh fuck, what's it called? What's that movie called, babe? Where they're selling cars? Why can't I think of it? I don't know. It'll come to me. Never mind, guys. I'm sorry.
Sounds really good though.
Stranger Than Fiction. Have I seen that one?
That
Who's
one's
best movie?
more. It is a really good movie. It's funny, but it's more on like a serious note type of thing. Kind of like Steve Carell had Dan in real life. Like it was funny because it's like Steve Carell just being like a awkward middle-aged dude who's going through like normal people shit, and it's humorous.
Good at.
Yeah. So Stranger Than Fiction is
Good.
kind of Will Ferrell in normal life, but he's also got like weird stuff going on too. So it's really unique and cool and kind of funny, and like it is a good movie. I highly recommend it.
The Goods, that's the movie I was thinking of, where they're selling cars. It's got some of those same people in it. Will Ferrell has an extremely small role, but a lot of those other same people. But it's really funny.
See, this is why we keep her around, so she can help you remember all the things that your brain fog don't allow.
We've watched so many in the last year or two. It's hard to keep them all together.
Oh well, Kathy, what's her bitch face talking about putting people on a bus? Apparently, busing people is actually very racist.
Oh boy.
MSNBC professor, those who support busing illegal immigrants to New York City are racists like segregationists. So let's see what brilliant words of wisdom she has. Maybe.
So fat. Brendan,
I don't want the fucking ad.
Here we go. My favorite part of the ad.
Your classic is around the chest and shoulders and arms, and then
As long as we don't get another skewer and a hot dog today, I'm happy.
The point is, the shirt doesn't highlight your best attributes.
Just win.
You're a really good dad.
Yeah, I am.
Why do guys not know how to dress themselves?
I feel like I need some of those shirts.
professor in political science.
But we know that, racists don't mind paying this money. We saw this with, our parents and grandparents' generations when schools were, forced to integrate and they refused. So they would ship, African Americans to other states to attend college because they didn't want to integrate schools in, say, South Carolina or Virginia or Georgia. So racists, are willing to pay the money and they don't care if taxpayers pay the brunt. I think what's so disgusting about this is that, these are people's lives. Just as Maria said, we have men, women, and children on a bus for days on end, not knowing where they're going, and there is no coordination. And we know that the governors of these states are only doing this to perform an act, just to try and appease their particular bases, even though they're costing their own taxpayers money, and even though the vast majority of Americans are descendants of people who came from countries like Italy and Ireland and Germany and Poland, who were treated the same, in similar ways, but they've forgotten that history. And that's the part and the problem of America, in that we're so ahistoric when it comes to how we treat immigrants and how we think about this nation of immigrants in the Statue of Liberty and so many other places that are supposed to be welcoming.
I love how you have a Crusader shirt over off to the side. You thinking about buying one of those?
What?
Were you
watching that? Were you looking at the ad, not the video again?
I don't know. One of the shirts was a Crusader shirt. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I am curious
We
if
could
she
use a
feels.
modern day crusade. Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
I'm curious if she does make the correlation and feel the same way when that governor talks about busing what I assume are mostly whites out of New York.
Yeah. Well, that just kind of makes things a little more equal in her eyes. It's all about equity.
And she's talking about like how terrible it is for these poor illegal immigrants that are being bussed across the country to New York. Number one, they're on like Greyhound type buses. So they actually have a bathroom. They're not having to piss in their own shoes. So it's already an upgrade over their travel accommodations for the last however many months it took them to get into the States.
They probably have air conditioning.
Soros is paying for these buses. And
they have air conditioning. They do know where they're going. They're going to New York. They're not being trafficked by coyotes. They're actually you could make the argument that the government is potentially worse than the coyotes, but they at least have people who claim reputability. They won't shoot them if they don't pay right away. They'll wait until they don't pay their taxes and then they'll shoot them.
Yeah.
Do you have any of the other kind of coyotes down there?
Yes,
the real coyotes?
Yes, I shoot those regularly.
Do you?
Yeah. Did I not tell y'all about my hunting
you probably
incident?
Did.
I'm sure I did.
I'm sure you did.
That's what we do on this show.
Around
though.
the lodge is Cheney.
We tell the same stories all the time.
Fuck.
This is who are the governors that are busing them up there?
Abbott,
Arizona.
Yeah, Abbott, and then I don't know if it's Arizona governor, but I know some parts of Arizona are doing it.
Just
The
some
Arizona-
dudes in Arizona are doing it.
Those are the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. I mean, just even from like, let's say you are like the Coyotes, like you'd think it'd be in your best interest to disperse them across the country a little more, so the people on the border don't get as upset, because you kind of gotta, that's the big barrier. You know what I mean? So, be in your best interest to get them up and disperse them into other states. Anyhow,
Otherwise, you just get like a roadblock or a log jam.
Well, yeah, I mean, keep the heat off of you a little bit. I mean, obviously, those the border states are the people who probably rightly so have the biggest issue with the the issues of the border. So when that's your backyard, it's a little different. So yeah, man, get them up to the north states.
Hey.
The crazy thing is whenever they talk about like your family were immigrants, and it's like
they weren't treated well, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that means I want all immigrants to be treated poorly. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're going to make that comparison, know your history. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. Ellis Island wasn't this romantic experience for everybody. Oh, I'm an American now. Yeah, there's a lot more going on than just that.
Oh, and you experience a lot of like, especially that you mentioned Italians. Italians weren't considered white, in the 1800s when they started coming over heavily. They weren't considered white. They were.
Well, and like Stephen talks about this, if you couldn't make your own way, you got sent back and billed for the trip. That's the way. So all the, all the Nordic countries that the Democratic Socialists tout as these beautiful examples of socialism working, they have like the most restrictive immigration policies on the planet. Like, just for shits and giggles, I looked into like what you have to do to move to Sweden, and basically you're not gonna. Like that's kind of the long and short of it. Is like there are a lot of hoops you got to jump through to qualify for them to consider you, and even then they only take like so many people, and that's why there's such a big. I know for a fact we talked about this, like the right-wing nationalistic movement that's rising up in Sweden because they've been bringing in all of these Muslim immigrants from the Middle East, and like it's really kind of fucking stuff up. Like that's not the way they do things, and it's really pissing people off.
I don't know what my mom is up to, but I was over there yesterday, and she's always doing Ancestry when I'm over, and she's like, I'm trying to find our Swedish link. But I was like, I mean, yeah, find that. See if we can have an end with the Swedish nationalists. We'll work from there.
Well, speaking of that part of the country, speaking of that part of the world, not Sweden in particular.
It's all flat anyways. You can call it a country.
Mark's a flat earther. You heard it here first.
Just not a globe earther. I'm not saying it's flat.
Just agnostic, We don't know what it is. Could be a box.
Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers.
Germans are such a bunch of losers now.
Whatever happened to the good old strong Germany of like the 1930s and 40s?
We don't even have to go to 33 to 45 to say like, oh, they're so much more base. Like even Kaiser himself would have been like, I am so disappointed in my people.
Those few years, the whole country was on vacation. Don't worry about that.
Nothing happened of it. Nothing happened.
No history. Back when they used to make good cars like Volkswagens and shit,
I love Volkswagens.
Well, that aged really well considering that Germany is now. Did y'all see the article that they are selling out of firewood in Germany? Like they can't cut down trees fast enough to keep firewood on the shelves because people are buying so much firewood because they know they're not going to have oil or natural gas to heat their houses this winter. So,
jeez, they have to have big enough forests in Germany.
Well, I mean, they nuked half of them with Chernobyl. That's. So I mean, I guess you could burn whatever trees have grown back since that, and then you get that internal glow that warms you forever.
Ran out of soap too, didn't they?
What?
No, never mind. Just gonna leave it there.
Well, like like I was saying in the chat earlier, when they say in that thing, like Germany only gets a fraction of their oil from Russia or whatever. It's like, I don't know what that fraction is, but 2/3 is still a fraction. So, almost feels like a fact check there. Fact check, mostly true.
It is only a fraction. Just in, Wine Energy, Austria's largest energy supplier, is insolvent.
They spelled wine wrong.
It will require 1.7 billion euros to remain liquid, according to local media. And then you've also got sorry, I'm not as quick as I.
Yeah, put me back in charge.
Yeah, that'll work out real well. Economists sound alarm on green energy as Americans struggle with costs. Europe is telling us a big story. That big story is that it's a fucking failure.
Yeah, I keep hearing they're going to struggle this winter.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be ugly. I bet you there's going to be a lot more people die of frostbite and just the cold this winter, especially in some of those colder European countries that are refusing to do business with Russia than are going to die from climate change, unless they just start counting all COVID deaths as climate change. But
well, they'll count those deaths as climate change at least.
So is this all like consequences of their environment policies as well as the Russia stuff?
Yes. Most of Europe, since the invent of the EU, has been moving to more solar, more wind, and it's largely failing. They just can't produce the energy that they need. Like they've been doing all this, but they've also been supplementing all of their energy needs with oil and natural gas from Russia as well, to make up the difference that they're lacking. And also all of these upgrades and stuff are not cheap. They require high levels of maintenance. They're incredibly expensive for like the yearly upkeep and everything. And that's why like the one big Austrian company is bankrupt, is because they've put more money than they can ever generate. They've put more money into trying to change all of this stuff and then maintain it than they'll ever be able to get back out of it. Like it's just ridiculously ineffective and inefficient.
Yeah, I think those technologies are better on small scale, for sure. Can't we just have thorium already? That's all I want. Just a thorium reactor for every neighborhood. It's the shit that they'd be using as a nuclear fuel if they were allowed to make new nuclear plants. It's like everywhere. Like it's something like the figure is like we have like enough thorium already stored because it's slightly radioactive. Hey, God damn it. Sorry. Because it's like slightly radioactive, but apparently we have enough already like stored to like power the Earth for the next 10 years or something. But yeah, it's just like really safe. Like if like it has like a meltdown, it just stops functioning. Like it doesn't melt down. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's like the new generation nuclear plants that we're not allowed to build. Like they don't have they barely have any waste. Like the waste can be recycled. Like these beautiful things, but.
Just makes too much sense, Doug.
I know. Well, like some people who were like into this, they're like, we could have like every like neighborhood could have its own like, power plant. Like we could do this on really like small scale, and then like we'll talk about energy independence. No rolling blackouts, none of that shit. Because again, if there is an issue, it's isolated smaller areas. Decentralization, blah blah blah. But yeah, man, it's just all the arguing about fucking climate change, coal and oil and solar and wind. It's just like, fuck, we could just have good nuclear, and not have to worry about any of that shit. So, I don't know. Frustrating.
Stop making sense, damn it. That's not
I
how you
know.
make money.
Can't have nice things.
Fucking capitalism.
From what I heard, we just needed to get nuclear. We had nuclear plants until we got nuclear bombs figured out. And then it's like, okay, we don't need to work on nuclear plants anymore. We got, the government's goal out of the deal was the nuclear bombs, of course.
Are we sure nuclear bombs are real?
I'm curious. So I too have listened to Owen Benjamin. But I've listened to some of his like source material on that too. Like I watched like some of the talks with Galen Windsor and shit, where he was like in the nuclear field back in the he claims it's not nearly as dangerous, the radiation and shit, as what they claim. He claims that it's an industry thing. They need to make it seem dangerous so they can control it really tight. So yeah, I guess maybe they're not as powerful as we think they are. But whether or not they're real or not really anything I can do. Either one day I'm going to be vaporized or I'm not. So whatever. I don't worry about it too much.
No, you don't sit there and just they're lying to us about nuclear bombs.
What do you think? You think it's just a power tool so that they can be?
I don't know. I haven't even heard really that. I just like to entertain all these things, other than the birds. I've said this before. I refuse to believe that birds are fake.
Well, maybe that's because you're a retard.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.